Shahriyar Story. Hi guys, to support us, like this video and subscribe your channel and turn the notification on. This is a real story and we changed the name of the people. I'm a girl from a poor family. If a child in our family was a girl, my father would marry her with the first sweater. And if he was a boy, he should have worked for himself when he was young. When I was 18 years old, my father told me to go to a sewing class instead of university to be a good wife for your future husband. I enrolled in a sewing class. Session 3. A boy to propose to me. He was my uncle's friend. His mother had seen me at my cousin's wedding and she liked me, and she had told my uncle about me. My father didn't investigate the boy who proposed to me because my uncle had told my father he was a good boy. Accepted him. John worked in a department store. We got married and rented a house. A few months after our marriage, I became suspicious of John. I found a cigarette in his pocket several times, but he said it belonged to his friend. One day I went shopping and came home and saw John's shoes in front of the house. I entered and saw John was using heroin. John and I were shocked. John asked if you have not gone to your father's house. I couldn't answer. I went to my room and John said, I sometimes use heroin, but I'm not addicted to heroin. After that, John used to use heroin in front of me every day. After a few months, it became clear that John was an addict. What can I do now? My father is poor. I told John's mother about him. She told me John had never used heroin before and that he was addicted because of you. John lost his job due to drug use. I found a job at an insurance company, and John worked as a laborer in a shop. After 2 years, I didn't notice my delayed menstruation due to the hard life I had. I went to the doctor. He told me, you were pregnant. Your child is a girl. I returned home surprised. I wanted to have an abortion, but when it shook in my stomach, I gave up. I gave birth in this difficult situation. We were quarantined for Corona when Jane was 3 years old and we couldn't work, and I moaned and said, we don't have any money, and Jane doesn't have clean clothes. John's father found him a job, but he didn't work, and I had to work. My boss was a kind man. He said, my family died in an earthquake. John and Jane were at home together, and I worked from morning till night. Because I was working, John was embarrassed and went to a distant city to work. After that, Jane went to kindergarten, and I could work until night. It was raining one day, and my boss, his name was Jack, told me to come and pick you up by my car. I was embarrassed and didn't accept, but he told me you are like my daughter, and I agreed to go with him. After when I finished my work, he took me to kindergarten to take Jane home. One day my daughter asked me, "What's the meaning of the word sugar daddy? What does sugar daddy mean?" I said, "Who told you this?" "My teacher," she answered. "She said that your mother and her sugar daddy have come to take you." I called Shakira. "Why did you say that to my daughter?" She laughed and asked, "Did I lie?" I hung up the phone. After that, I didn't allow Jane to go to the kindergarten where Shakira was, and I took her to another kindergarten, and I told them to take Jane home by taxi. One day, John came home, and he was angry. I asked, "What happened?" He beat me and said, "You are a prostitute." I thought you loved me and Jane, but you were thinking of sugar daddy. He didn't allow me to explain, and told me to leave this house. I was tired of living with him. After 10 years, he beat me and said to leave this house. When I wanted to leave, I asked my daughter what your father told you. "I told him I came home with your sugar daddy," she answered. I said nothing and kissed my daughter's face and left. I went to my father's house and called Shakira and said, "It's your fault. Explain it to John." She said, "I won't interfere," and she hung up very easily. My boss, Jack, wanted to explain to John. I said no, because I was tired of living with him. I filed for divorce and said Jane should live with me. John tried to prove I had betrayed him, but he failed. Now Jane and I live with my father. I'm divorced now and working, and I want to rent a house to live with my daughter. If you want to share your life story with us, please send it to this email address. Thanks for subscribing and liking this video. Goodbye.